Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and today's video we have a very fun objective. As you guys may know, if you've played a lot of Open Grade League this past week, NOCTOWL is absolutely everywhere. So today, I'm gonna run something spicy that can absolutely crush NOCTOWL. RELICANTH is a water and rock type Pokemon with the moveset of Water Gun, Aqua Tail, and Ancient Power, and it wins every shielding scenario versus NOCTOWL. So the goal for today, have some fun and make some NOCTOWLs have a terrible day. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out RELICANTH in action in the Great League. Hopping to the first match, picking up a tough lead, Gliscor into Dragonair. I'm going to farm up and try and catch an Aqua Tail onto Registeel, but my opponent shows great patience. They hang on to their energy, and they're going to respond to the Registeel save switch with a Sableye. Now Sableye, not necessarily the strongest response to a Registeel, as I will be able to inflict a lot of damage here. I fire off the Zap Cannon, that's going to connect. Unfortunately, I am not able to get the attack drop. My opponent is going to fire off Foul Play here. Because I did not get the attack drop, they are going to be able to KO, but this just sets up an incredibly nice farm down for Gliscor. My opponent, I'm expecting them to bring back in the Dragonair since they do have Over and Aqua Tail loaded, and that's exactly what they do. They try and go for the CMP tie, and I'm able to get through an extra wing attack. Aqua Tail is going to be shielded. I farm up so much energy, and I'm baiting with the Night Slash, hoping to grab a shield from my opponent. Night Slash gets the shield, and now I'm going for the Earthquake. This will KO or grab the final shield. It KOs in the back. They have NOCTOWL, and now it's time for RELICANTH to shine. RELICANTH, as I mentioned, has a dominant matchup over NOCTOWL, as even if NOCTOWL has 2 shields and RELICANTH has 0, according to PvPoke, RELICANTH can still win. RELICANTH fires off the Ancient Power, gets the shield, and even if they go for another Shadow Ball, I can still live this. So I'm gonna let this through. Opponent baits with a Sky Attack. That's not gonna cut it, and they concede the match. The tough leads continue in the next match, Gliscor into Azumarill. I'm going to stay in this matchup to start, but I will look to try and catch. So I'm going to farm up with the Gliscor, switch and catch the Ice Beam from the Azumarill onto the Registeel. That is massive. Opponent is going to respond with Trevenant. This is a terrible matchup for Registeel, but the good news is I needed to bait out the Trevenant so that way RELICANTH does not see it in the endgame. They go for the Shadow Ball. That will deal quite a bit of damage, and I'm going to return fire with the resistant Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon connects, gets the attack drop, and now they're not going to be able to farm down. Trevenant is going to be forced to fire off a charge move on CMP. The thing is, I'm not at 1 HP, so I can shield here and then either take switch advantage or get the shield back. I go for the Zap Cannon, Trevenant commits the shield, I aggressive switch into Gliscor, they fire off a Seed Bomb, but this is double debuffed, so I do not have to shield this whatsoever. Opponent sends in Azumarill, and I have a massive energy lead over the Azu here. I fire off the Earthquake, that's gonna connect. Gliscor farming up, looks like it will come down to a CMP tie that Gliscor is able to win. Our energy lead coming in handy as we grab the final shield, and you know what? I'm gonna trust in RELICANTH here. They go for the Ice Beam, that's perfectly fine. I'm just gonna send in RELICANTH. RELICANTH farming up. Azu going to fire off a charge move. I'm going to let this through. I tank whatever they throw here. They go for the Ice Beam there. Opponent looks like they're going to get farmed down here. They send in Galarian Stunfisk, and we have an overwhelming energy lead on the RELICANTH. Aqua Tail connects. RELICANTH continuing to farm. Almost at 2 more Aqua Tails here. Aqua Tail number 2. Able to land, making it to Aqua Tail number 3. That's going to be goodbye to the Galarian Stunfisk. They still do have the Trevenant left in the back. Trevenant farming up, going for the Seed Bomb, but we get the last second catch onto the Registeel, and that's going to be game over. RELICANTH farms down the Trevenant, and that is a good game. Gliscor cannot catch a break with these leads as it leads into a Shadow Swampert. Honestly, Shadow Swampert is insanely good versus this entire team. I'm going to let the first move through, and this is the exact reason why I'm not running Shadow Gliscor. Shadow Gliscor gets KO'd there, whereas the regular Gliscor can actually tank a Shadow Hydro Cannon, and while they try and Mudshot down, I'm actually able to make it to a second Night Slash. Swampert is going to lead this matchup with some energy, but they're down a shield, and they're almost to the red. I send in RELICANTH. This is enough for the Earthquake. I am going to respect it. Opponent full sends the Earthquake. They're now going to bring in FROSLASS. This is not a good matchup whatsoever, so this makes me think that they have something weak to RELICANTH in the back. potentially a Noctowl. If that's the case, then I want to save my Relicanth for later, so I'm going to farm up and then switch in the Registeel. Registeel going to be able to absorb the double Shadow Ball from the Frostlass. They go for Shadow Ball number 1, and they're making Shadow Ball number 2 right here. Registeel will be able to tank the second one as well, deep into the red, but will be able to hang on and make it to the last second Zap Cannon. This will be getting rid of the Frostlass, and then I have a slight energy lead Relicanth versus their back Mon, which is an Abomasnow, and I've made a huge mistake. At this point, I think I need to call a bait to win. They have enough for the energy ball. I know shield. It's a Weather Ball bait. That's huge. I continue to farm. Opponent goes for the catch, fails the catch, but they make the 1 HP Hydro Cannon. I'm forced to burn the final shield. I am at the back-to-back Ancient Powers. The question is, can they make the energy ball? Ancient Power number 1 connects, and I get to Ancient Power number 2. Relicanth takes down a Grass type as we secure the win. We are now 4 for 4 on lost leads, leading Gliscor into Frostlass. I save switch into Registeel, and my opponent responds with Medicham. The good news is I needed to bait out the Medicham, because Relicanth wants absolutely no part of it. I fire off the Zap Cannon, that's going to connect. Unfortunately, this time we do not see an attack drop. My opponent has farmed up a ton of energy. Let's see, do they have Dynamic Punch? They do not. It's a Psychic. Psychic is going to connect. Opponent going for an Ice Punch here, but Ice Punch I don't think is quite going to be enough to KO. Ice Punch gets me low, but Registeel able to hang on, make it to the Zap Cannon, and Zap Cannon is going to grab a shield. Now I do get the attack drop, and I'm going to send back in Gliscor. They're now debuffed, so I am going to tank the double super effective Ice Punch. This still does quite a bit of damage even when debuffed, but I'm going to get the farm down and leave with a Night Slash that I can use to threaten the Frostlass. So I'm going to fire off the Night Slash into the Frostlass. Frostlass is going to let that through. Send in Relicanth in the back. My opponent has Bastiodon, and it looks like with the Medicham out of the way, my opponent is actually core broken by Relicanth. I fire off the Aqua Tail. That does not do a lot of damage. This is a battle of 2 tanks, so neither one of us is going to be doing a lot of damage to the other. They go for the Stone Edge. I will commit the shield. I have so much energy on the Relicanth. My goal is to try an Aqua Tail and then leave with a move. So I fire off the Aqua Tail here, and I'm going to look for the farm down. Bastiodon with 1 HP makes another move. Oh, that is not great. I shield up the Stone Edge. In comes the Frostlass. I have so much energy here. I'm not baiting. Going straight for the Ancient Power. Opponent calls the bait. And that's a good game. Moving into our 5th game, still not a great lead as we lead Gliscor into Lickitung. The bulk of Lickitung makes this an awkward matchup for sure. I'm going to farm up, go for the Body Slam catch. Opponent hangs on to their energy, and they send in a Toxicroak. So the opponent's team gets absolutely shredded by Noctowl, but unfortunately, I'm not running Noctowl, so I'm the one getting shredded here. They fire off a Mud Bomb, I return fire with the Zap Cannon, but they're able to hang on, fully counter down, and that is quite unfortunate, as I was not able to grab a shield. I'm going to send back in the Gliscor, hoping that 1 wing attack can KO, but unfortunately, they hang on with 1 HP and make the last second Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb, thankfully enough, does not do a lot of damage. They're going to be firing off the Body Slam here. Body Slam is going to connect. I'm looking to overfarm, and then I'm not baiting. They're very bulky, so I'm going straight for the Earthquake here. Opponent is going to shield, and that is really not good for me, as I need damage on this Lickitung, as Power Whip would absolutely shred the Relicanth. I'm farming up, again, going for another Earthquake here. Let's see, decision time for the opponent. Earthquake is going to connect. In comes the Relicanth, and my opponent will make the Power Whip. I am going to commit the final shield. I have to hope it's something like Noctowl in the back. It's Defense Deoxys, and I resign the match. Picking up a great lead in the next match, Gliscor into Dunsparce. While this is a favorable lead, I'm probably going to have to switch out of here, because Dunsparce is often paired with Medicham. So I'm going to farm up, switch, and catch a Rock Slide onto my Registeel. That's not going to do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, the Dunsparce is pretty quickly going to make a Drill Run. Drill Run not going to be lethal, but it will definitely leave a mark on the Registeel. My opponent looking to farm up here. They try and catch onto the Medicham, but now I can fire off Zap Cannons And the good thing is I've baited out the Medi. I get an attack drop as well. That is quite nice. Make it to another Zap Cannon. I throw an alignment, but honestly, I just wanted to get this damage off. Zap Cannon is going to force a shield. My switch clock comes up. I switch into the Gliscor, and this is going to be a bit interesting. I decided to let the first one through. Since it's debuffed, I know I'm going to be able to tank it. And then I'm going to try and go for the one shield farm down. I think I can get the farm down here. It's going to be close, going over 100 energy, but I miscounted. The opponent makes another Ice Punch, and I'm forced to give up my final shield. That is not great, as my opponent can send in the Dunsparce. I'm baiting here, going for the Night Slash, hoping my opponent is going to commit a shield. They call the bait. That is so unfortunate. And now they're going to fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide not going to be enough to KO. Gliscor able to hang on and fire off the Earthquake. This Earthquake should just about be lethal. It connects. Down goes Dunsparce. It's Frostlass in the back. Okay, this should hopefully be doable for Relicanth. I do also have the ability to catch, so I farm up, switch, and get the catch onto the 1 HP Registeel. And if the game wasn't over, it definitely is now. Relicanth now gonna go for the Ancient Power. Ancient Power should be lethal from this health range. Opponent commits the shield. No boost for Relicanth, but the nice thing is a Shadow Ball will not be lethal. Relicanth tanks the Shadow Ball, makes the Ancient Power, and that's going to be good night to the Frostlass. Ancient Power gets the KO, and Relicanth gets the win. We see a tricky lead in the next match, Gliscor into Shadow Dragonite. Shadow Dragonite does win all even shields versus Gliscor, so this is not a great matchup, but I don't really want to switch out of here either, as my two rock types would not appreciate Superpower. My opponent goes for the Night Slash catch onto Azumarill. I bank an Earthquake for later, so I have a ton of energy. Now I can answer the Azumarill with my Registeel. Let's see, do they actually have Hydro Pump? Yes, they do. Hydro Pump is going to connect, dealing quite a bit of damage. And now I can return fire with the Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon is non-lethal, but it does a lot of damage and gets the attack drop as well. Farming up with the Registeel, going for the Zap Cannon before they're able to make their next Hydro Pump. This will, of course, easily KO. My opponent commits the shield, so they are looking to try and win switch advantage. And you know what? I'm perfectly fine with letting them have it. I would much rather get energy on Relicanth, if at all possible. I'm going to send in Relicanth here. Relicanth looking for the farm down with a sliver of HP. Azu makes the charge move. I commit the shield. It's only a play rough, but I do get the farm down. We'll have to see what my opponent has in the back. We know about the Dragonite. It's a Lantern. You have got to be kidding me. I farm up, switch into the Gliscor, and go for the Earthquake. I'm hoping that it's a CMP sack swap on the Thunderbolt, and it is. Did they throw the Thunderbolt here? That would be big. They baited with the Surf, and unfortunately, I just don't really see a win con in this match, barring something short of calling a bait and getting a double Ancient Power boost, which I do not get the Ancient Power boost. I'm going for another one. I'm still just hoping to try and find a win con in this match, but Lantern in the back is just so rough. I let this go, trying to call a bait. It's a Thunderbolt, and that's a good game. Hopping into the final match, leading into, you guessed it, yet another bad lead. Gliscor into Shadow Swampert. As with the previous Shadow Swampert lead, I'm going to stay in here, spam out Night Slashes, and play it out. I go for the Night Slash, opponent lets it through, and I get the Night Slash boost. Let's go. From here, honestly, since I'm boosted, I'm just going to double shield and wing attack all the way down. They go for Hydro Cannon number 1, I shield. Hydro Cannon number 2, I shield as well. Noctowl save switch. I'm going to bank a ton of energy. I could have brought in Relicanth, but I actually decided to bring in Registeel here. The reason being, I think Relicanth and its Water Gun Pressure will be useful in getting rid of that Swampert later in the match. I'm going to go for the Zap Cannon and actually go for an undercharge here. The reason being is I already had some boosted wing attack chip damage on the Noctowl, and I want to farm down. They go for another Shadow Ball, and look at this. We get the perfect lock-on farm down of the Noctowl, and we leave with a charge move loaded to threaten that Shadow Swampert. Swampert is going to let it go. In the back, my opponent has a 2-shield Sableye. I'm going to make use of the energy I stored on Gliscor earlier in the game. Baiting with the Night Slash. Opponent calls the bait. What a read by my opponent. I'm just going to keep spamming out Night Slashes here, as eventually my opponent will have to start shielding. I grab the first shield, go for Night Slash number 3, but I lose CMP to Sableye as it makes the return. Return will be lethal. I'm going to fully wait my timer. Enough charge moves have been thrown that my switch clock should be close to up. I bring in the Relicanth, these water guns, putting a lot of pressure onto the Sableye. I'm going to fire off the Aqua Tail here. Aqua Tail will grab the final shield, and then I'm going to look to catch. I farm up, switch, and get the game-clinching catch onto the Registeel. Opponent is going to undercharge, looking for some extra farm, but unfortunately, I tank a foul play. Relicanth has some pretty nice bulk to it, so I tank the foul play, water gun down, and that is a good game. All in all, Relicanth proved to be a very fun pick when it comes to neutralizing Noctowl, as well as core breaking a couple teams in the process. I personally would not recommend using Relicanth if you're looking to push for Legend or climb rank. I was able to go about even in my sets with it, but still, if you're looking for a pick that's more for fun, and you're looking to just absolutely crush Noctowl in the process, then Relicanth is a really fun choice. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.